It's Maura Chick. How are you guys today? I wanted to pop on really quick and just talk about one of the reasons that I do what I do with my job. And it's not something I talk about very often. And there's a lot of things that brought me to a point of this self-hate and guilt and shame that I felt about myself and the way I looked. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know a lot of women have stories of what's happened in their past that have dictated their ability to move forward through life happy and confident and know that they are worthy of all of the good things that happen. But I just thought I'd share really quick about something that really was like the first thing that happened to me, where I really knew that who I wasn't good enough. When I was 10 years old, 10, 11, I don't know about you, but sometimes my memories are a little hazy on like how old I was at certain times, but I would say 10, 11, my grandmother, who I was not very close with, this is my grandmother on my dad's side, we just didn't really get along. Now my grandfather, her husband, we were very, very close. I called him my best friend for a very long time. We were very close, but she and I were not particularly close. I mean, there's actually an old family portrait that I get a chuckle out of now when I look at, but I was running around like crazy, like I always did. I mean, I was maybe 6 in this photo, running around the portrait studio like crazy. You bouncing off the walls. I mean, my mom will tell you stories that I would like run out to check the mailbox and I almost got hit by a semi truck once. I'd climb the cabinets in the kitchen. Like I was just a crazy kid, always moving and shaking. So it was no different at the portrait studio. But my grandmother was getting very upset with me because I wouldn't sit still. And if you look at the photo, I'm actually standing in front of her. I have the most disgusted look on my face, and you can see her hands are on my arms and they're like down like this, like holding me in place. And I'm like, it's hysterical when I look back on it now. But that is like the perfect explanation of what our relationship was like. I didn't act the way she wanted me to. I probably didn't talk the way she wanted me to. And it always felt like she was trying to control who I was. So anyway, my grandmother and I did not get along very well. And I don't ever remember her being very loving towards me. But one day she called me and she said, Maura, I'm going to take you on a special trip. Just me and you. I'm going to pick you up this date and time. And I was so like, Grandma wants to go out with me? Like, finally, oh my gosh, she loves me. I knew it. I was so excited. And I don't know that my parents knew what her plan was, but so I got all dressed up. I did my hair. I wore a fancy little dress, and she picked me up and drove me straight to Weight Watchers. Wah, wah, wah. And, you know what happens at Weight Watchers back in the day. You used to step on the scale and everyone would say your weight out loud and here's all the meals you can eat. Here's what I want you to restrict. And my grandmother was just sitting there. Yep, she needs to do this. Yep, okay, I'll pay for whatever it is for you to get the food, for you to come back here. And in that moment, I'm sorry for the delay. I'm trying not to cry. In that moment, I knew that I wasn't good enough for her. That who I was and the way I looked was not acceptable. And that I could only be loved by her if I looked a certain way. Because all my life, she was always trying to get me to lose weight and be thin and girls should be thin and pretty and so yeah, I knew in that moment at 10 years old that I wasn't enough for her. and that I was never going to be enough for her. I wasn't going to be accepted because I was fat. I was the fat kid. And she was trying to change the way I looked so that it was acceptable. And that created this story in my head that no one's going to love me if I'm fat. I need to change my body. I need to change who I am. Like, I need to be what everyone else wants me to be instead of being authentically myself. And that is a really hard story to tell yourself for about 25, 30 years, you know? And the story compounds with other stories, and there's other things that have happened in my life. I mean, I could share with you, just like other women, a million stories, not a million, that's an exaggeration, but hundreds of stories like this where, you know, people have said things or done things, and it just made me feel like I'm not good enough. And see, there's proof that you aren't good enough and you need to change, and you can't be fat, you need to be thin. And my confidence took a major hit. And this is why I focused always on changing the outside, because I thought that was the way to love and acceptance. And it's not. And it took a very long time for me to realize that. So a lot of the work that I do, whether that's, you know, boudoir photography or my confidence course or my confidence membership, it's very important for me to help women on this journey and navigate confidence and love for themselves, so that these kind of stories don't dictate our lives for so long. I mean, geez, oh man, the story I told myself, whoo, and then more stories and more stories. And guess what? These stories are lies, right? And all of our experiences in life make up these lies. And it was really a light bulb moment for me when I realized that. Now, I don't harbor any resentment towards my grandmother. She actually passed away 8 years ago. But looking back on it now, because one of the things that I help women do when we have these experiences, I say, okay, let's look at it from their perspective. What were they going through? And when I look back at my grandmother's life, she struggled with her weight her entire life. Before it was like, you know, a common thing to do, she had weight loss surgery, and just fluctuated with her weight her entire life. She seemed pretty miserable most of the time, always restricting what she was eating, counting calories. Oh my goodness. Slim Fast was always in the refrigerator. So looking back over her life, what I realized is that she was trying to save me from the pain, agony, and misery that she felt. Was this the proper way to do it? No, absolutely not. But this is what she thought was right. And so looking back as an adult, I can make peace with that. But it doesn't mean that I didn't continue to tell myself this story that, you know, I need to be thin to be accepted and lovable and confident, and the alternative is no good. So why do you think I tortured myself at the gym or went on this weight loss plan and that weight loss plan, and let me buy this workout because it's going to get me to lose weight, and then I gain it back and I feel miserable about myself? Because I wasn't doing any work on the inside. So the change only happens when I'm working on the inside, because then it doesn't matter what happens on the outside, because the outside is going to fluctuate and change my entire life. My body is supposed to change. But so it's more important for me to work on the inside than the outside. So this is why this work is so important to me. I mean, one of the reasons, I mean, again, I could tell you, like, there are 10 stories that stand out in my head from my childhood, experiences like this, where it's like, wow, that really shaped your issue with confidence and self-love. And, but this is the first one that really, because when it was a family member, this is really the first one where I'm like, wow, that was it. That started everything. The dominoes just started falling into this misery, self-hate, shame, guilt, and I couldn't break through. So I know sometimes I laugh about it and I joke, see, that's my defense mechanism, because I don't want to cry the whole video. Like, I mean, honestly, you know, I just sit there and think, Grandma, I just wanted you to love me. That's it. That's all. I just wanted you to love me. And I think I missed out on a lot because I didn't have that love. Because I hid myself away and I didn't want my true self to be seen because it wasn't good enough. But I am good enough. That's my laugh, my defense mechanism again. But I was good enough and I was worthy of people's love and attention. And I think that's what I want women to realize, is that we have to stop just saying I am enough. We actually have to believe that we are enough, because we are. So it's one thing to say it and think it, but do you actually believe it? And that's really what I want to help women kind of move to, is believing that they are enough. And then we can live with this unstoppable confidence that's really going to change our entire lives and our perspective of everything that happens to us. You know, these stories shape so much of who we are and the life that we lead and the feelings we have about ourselves and our beliefs about the way we need to carry ourselves, how we have to look, how we think, the emotions that we have. It dictates so much. And until we can make peace with those things from the past and break through them and see how they were wrong, what should have happened, and the story I told myself, and let's work past that story, then can we live with this unstoppable confidence, because we know those stories no longer hold us back. They no longer serve us. And I just love helping women in any shape or fashion just feel absolutely amazing about themselves. You know, it's just, life's too short for us to be so hard on ourselves. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video.